required by the code. And because they're solid and unoperable, they are code compliant.
Let me make sure I understand, Mr. Cox, if I may. So from a construction standpoint, from a fire safety standpoint, those windows are no different than the solid brick wall.
Correct. And they are no longer openings, they are part of the wall because they don't open. And they're fire rated just like the wall. They are part of the wall.
Thank you. Please continue.
On the other side of the building, we'll be having a similar situation with the existing openings there. So moving on to the floor plans.
Before you do that, I just want to ask you a question. You know, being a resident in town and a local business person in town, and as an architect, one who's designed many houses and structures, not only in Point Pleasant Beach, but throughout the area, do you see any merit or benefit to saving and protecting this old building and restoring it, as opposed to putting something different there?
Oh, absolutely. It's a fabulous building. It's in great shape. Later in my testimony, I'll talk about the structural aspects of the building, but it's been in service for 114 years. It certainly functions well in its location downtown as a retail use on the first floor, and the previous use on the second floor was an apartment and a dentist's office, the most recent uses, although the dentist's office has been non-functional for many years. But it's absolutely worth saving, and it's a keystone of our downtown and has been for many years.
All right, thank you. Please continue with the floor plan. So in working with the owner of the building and coming up with the program and a plan, did you have an opportunity to meet with the with who will be the tenants and to design a layout that would suit their needs?
I did.
All right.
So,
Can you explain the layout?
Sure. In keeping with those meetings, I'd like to show you the plans of the building. So interestingly enough, the existing building has a Yankee cellar in it, which most people realize originally the building had a crawl space, but there is a deeper portion of the base of the building that has headroom in the center. So we will be putting on a very small addition to the rear of the building, and what that addition will encompass is a small foyer with an elevator to allow for our accessible requirements to the second floor, and a new fire-rated stair. What I can point out on this first floor plan is there's a dotted line, and it doesn't show on this plan, but where my cursor is going, where the hand is moving, that is an existing portion of the building that will be removed and rebuilt. So the actual addition is only this little bump here and the stairs. The rest of it is currently covering the site. And what that includes is an elevator that'll go down to the basement, as well as an egress, a set of fire stairs, as well as so that's how we get down in the basement. We're going to be removing the existing basement stairs. And then on the first floor, this hotel foyer, as we've labeled it, will allow access for the hotel guests because the parking's in the back here, and Mr. Lurie will speak to that. It will allow access to the elevator as well as a set of stairs. It also allows tenant number 2, the larger tenant, to the back, to be able to get out to the back of the property, as well as access, to the basement as well. And the way the first floor is going to lay out is we'll have a smaller tenant on the left, which is this size of unit has been here for the longest time. In fact, this tenant at one point for several years was the town post office. So we've got a separate tenant here. We meet our egress requirements. It's got a handicap bath, and that's approximately, if I can zoom in on it, it's existing. And the size of that unit is 878.6 square feet. Tenant number 2, as you can see, sort of L shapes around to the back. We will be required to put in 2 new accessible bathrooms, and that will have, as I mentioned, access to the backyard. Both of these tenants have been here for many years. I mean, the layout of these units, and again, you can see from this plan, the Arnold Avenue entrances, we have a recessed front door for both units, and then the center door, which leads to the stairs, which go upstairs. And
Will the front of the building still look and function as it has for 107 years, or whatever the number is?
yes, it will. And we'll keep that historic facade.
I remember from the last meeting, there were concerns that some of the members wanted there to be a connectivity with the upper unit to be able to go out onto Arnold Avenue. Is that what those steps are for?
Yes, that's how the building is set up now. As you see on the front elevation, there's a single door with a nice pediment and column detail around it, which will be restored. And that door leads directly to these stairs, which are here, and those stairs lead directly to the second floor. And since we're on the second floor, the second
Right, that's a
floor
good
is...
segue. That's a good segue to the second floor.
Actually, Mr. Cox, let's just take a quick pause for a second. Any board members have any questions so far on the exterior that you heard about, of the whole addition that's being added, the downstairs layout, anything from any board members?
Yeah, just a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Yeah, Mr. Cox, just real quick, on your front elevation, there's a notation of tenant 1, tenant 2, and I think it's tenant 3, or store 1, store 2, and tenant 3. There was some confusion. The application said that there were going to be 3 retail spaces. Your plans showed 2. The board's agenda for tonight also said there were going to be 3 retail spaces. I just want to confirm it's 2 retail spaces and then the hotel on the 3rd floor.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions from any board members?
I just have a quick question, Mr. Chairman. I
Go ahead,
walked in the back today, and there's a lot of room back there, but exactly how big is that small addition that you're putting on? How many feet?
Okay.
Tiny.
I believe that's on Mr. Laurie's plans, but I can tell you.
Mr. Laurie tells me it's 691 square feet. He will testify to that when he gets that satisfactory Mayor Solo.
Okay, that's good.
I just have one quick question. We've heard about the historical part of this building. Is this registered with the state, county, or the town as a historical building?
I believe Mr. Cox can address that. That's right up his alley, as it were.
Yes, it's actually been recognized by the town council as historically significant to the town history. I believe that was also noted in Mr. Savaco's letter, that it was recognized by the council in 2013. So the Historic Preservation Commission of Point Pleasant Beach has put together a list of historically significant buildings to the history of Point
Ask him.
Pleasant Beach.
My building's on that list.
To date, we have,
So we should ask
I
him.
believe, 45 buildings on that list that have been recognized by the council, either for the age or the condition or the location of the building. And this building was actually on the first list of 25.
Okay, thank you.
Mine's probably 26.
Any
Pretty
other
beat up.
board members with what they've heard so far from Mr. Cox? Mr. Jackson, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. Can you please put the second floor up, explain what you've designed the use for, and go through the various features?
Okay. So on the second floor, we've designed a modern day hotel. And the operator will discuss how the hotel actually functions, but for the purposes of the conversation right now, essentially what we have are 7 hotel suites, very typical of what you might find in an upscale hotel that you might visit. We've arranged the hotel suites off a central corridor, which proceeds from the stairs on the Arnold Avenue side down a central hallway that will be lit with skylights as well as artificial illumination. And then on the second floor in the rear, we have again the elevator, the stairs, and a small sitting area for the guests. Off of our corridor, we have arranged 7 units. They vary in their configuration from a single king size bed to a double queen unit. Each one has its own bathroom, has its own small under-counter refrigerator that you would typically find in a hotel, a closet. And we also have to have and have designed one unit which is handicap accessible. They will function off of this central corridor. In addition, we have what's labeled laundry. This room is intended to be used by the cleaning staff to hold various paper products, maybe some small cleaning supplies. The operator will discuss whether the laundry is going to be done on site or not. And in addition, any additional storage that the hotel might need beyond the size of this room would certainly be able to be stored in the existing basement. And that would be separated out for their use. One of the features of this layout is that the guests, although they may arrive in the back because that's where they parked, they can certainly enter and exit directly off of Arnold Avenue, which is great because as they leave to go shopping in our downtown, or certainly go enjoy the beach or dining, they can enter and exit the building through this front set of stairs. And that's how the second floor is laid out for our hotel suites.
He kind of answered them.
Mr. Cox, does this layout?
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
So, some of the key features of this change of use and this adaptation of our building is we will have an elevator for handicap access, and the entire building will be supplied with a new fire suppression system. We envision that the mechanical units for these little hotel rooms would be located on the roof, as they can be individual units. And that's pretty much the design layout of the second floor. If anybody has any questions.
Any board members? Mr. Dixon?
Yeah, the question I have is, 2 questions actually. Why 7 rooms, and why couldn't the rear elevator and entrance be put into the existing building instead of building an addition?
Well, we felt that it would do less harm to the existing building because this has to go down actually deeper than the current basement level because of the footing and foundation work, and that this would fit within the requirements for the sizes of the equipment and the stairs that we need. So we elected to put it on the back of the building as opposed to cutting holes in the existing floor structure, as well as disturbing the existing foundations. For example, in this area of the building, it seemed to make more sense construction-wise to put it on the back. The reason for the 7 hotel rooms was a discussion that we had with the operator, as well as the existing square footage that we had to work with.
Thank you.
Mr. Cox, with this configuration, is there adequate ingress and egress for fire safety?
Yes, there is. We have looked into the various codes that we need. Interestingly enough, in an R1 use, which is what this is, the windows that we have in the hotel rooms are not required for fire safety. It's an R1 use. You may imagine if you were to stay in a hotel, say in Boston on the 20th floor, those windows aren't going to open. It's an R1 use. The R1 use is predicated on the length of stay. Because it's an R1 use,
Ask them
there's
what
a
the length
maximum
of stay.
stay period of less than 30 days. That's in the code. But we are required to sprinkler the building, and we are required to provide distance of travel and various means of egress through stairs. So,
Why do you keep going? I'm sorry.
okay. And what I'd like to point out is these are, as the board is well aware, these are design plans prepared for the board